Every soul is Gurudasa.
நமஸ்காரம். ஸ்ரீ குருப்யோ நம. பெரியவா சரணம். ஐம்கார ஹ்ரீங்கார ரகஸ்யயுக்த ஸ்ரீங்கார கூடார்த்த மகாவிபூத்யா ஓங்கார மர்ம பிரதிபாதினீभ्यां நமோ நம ஸ்ரீ குருபாதுகாभ्यां. The meaning of this slokam is Namo Namaha Shri Guru Padukabhyam. I do namaskaram to the pair of Guru Padukas. Why? Because Omkara Marma Pratipadinibhyam, they explain with clarity the Tattvartha of Omkaram, which is secretive. With what do they explain? Aimkara Hrimkara Rahasya Yukta Shrimkara Gudartha Mahavibhutya. With the great wealth contained in the Shrimkaram, which consists of the secretive meaning of the two syllables Aim and Hrim. This was the subject matter on which Sri Gurudāsar was doing UPANYASAM for 7 days, what we call as Saptaham nowadays. He was explaining in great detail the Padha Mahima, Paduka Mahima, Pada Sevana Bhagyam and the Mahima of Pada Puja. Nowadays, in many households, we see Padukas being kept for puja with the bhavana that their Ishta Devata or Guru is physically present in those Padukas in their respective houses to do anugraham to them. Sri Gurudāsar was quoting from Ramayana as to how Rama went on foot to several places to do anugraham for devotees like Ahalya, Shabari, etc. Everyone was happy listening to the parallels drawn from Itihasas to explain the concept of Paduka Mahima and the Bhagyam to do Padhasevaram, etc. Amongst the audience was a family of a father, mother and their daughter. One day at the end of the Upanyasam, they approached Sri Gurudāsar with their concern. What was their concern? Shivachar was well versed in all Shastras and following Acharam and Vicharam as per their Sampradaya. Their daughter was Rupavati and Gunavati, but somehow they could not find a suitable match for her. They were following righteousness to the core. Sri Gurudāsar listened to them carefully and suggested a remedy. He told them that in a neighboring village, Padukas are available. He instructed the Shivacharya to bring those Padukas to his house and do Pada Puja in a prescribed manner. This suggestion appealed to Shivacharya family and they felt very happy. The very next day, they proceeded to that village as directed by Sri Gurudāsar. They have to go to the village by crossing the river, which is usually shallow and knee-deep. But on that day, the Kataru brought pravaham in that river, making it difficult to cross over. Gurudāsar had stipulated the time, the muhurtam to bring the Paduka and when and how long to do the puja, etc. So, Shivachar family, though hesitated initially, decided to wade through the water, believing totally that Guru's words will never be false. They had gone a few yards when something got caught in Shivachar's kudmi, the tuft. It was a Mungil Koda, a basket made of bamboo. Inside the basket was a silver plate covered with a silk cloth. They found a pair of padukas beneath the vastram. As Tyagaraj Swami put it, Nannu Palimpa Natachi Vachitivo Rama. The Shivachar family had mixed feelings of extreme happiness, concern, and wonder. Though they held on to the padukas with extreme care, love, and regard, a nagging doubt that came to their mind was whether these were the same padukas which Sri Gurudasa wanted them to bring. It came floating and was found accidentally by them. Anyhow, they decided to take those padukas to Sri Gurudasa directly in wet clothes as they got out of water. They had so much of Shraddha, Bhakti, Prema while holding those padukas. They came to the Pravachana Mandapam and placed the basket with the padukas with utmost reverence. All the Sishyas and the general public who were present to hear the Pravachanam were thrilled to look at the padukas, the aura it had, and the vibration which they spread. Sri Gurudasa went into a trance in an ecstatic state of mind, feeling the vibes of the padukas. These are the padukas that came seeking them. Sri Gurudasa, along with his Sishyas and Shivachar family, did a grand puja with Shodashopacharam, with Navavidha Bhakti and Shraddha. In the meanwhile, Sri Gurudasa sent some of his Sishyas to find out the direction and the place from where the padukas could have floated down the stream. These Sishyas found out that in a nearby village they had performed Kudamurukku. Kudamurukku is a periodical ritual conducted by a temple or matam where the Utsava Murti will be brought for a dip to the sacred river, and all the bhaktas will also have a dip at the same time. What is called as Kumbhabhishekam in Shiva temples and Samprokshanam in Vaishnava temples are translated as Kudamurukku. If a temple is constructed anew and devatas are installed with proper Vedic rituals, it is known as Nutana Ashtabandhana Kumbhabhishekam. If an old temple is partially renovated and rituals are conducted, it is called Punaruddharana Kumbhabhishekam. If a temple had been dilapidated for several years and it had been renewed with rituals, it is called Jirnodhara Kumbhabhishekam. The Shaiva and Vaishnava Agamas say that a Kumbhabhishekam has to be done at least once in 12 years in all the temples. Why 12 years? Usually, the murtis are made up of granite, black stone. When they do pratisthapana in sanidhis, they will keep plates with yantras, with their respective mantras, and on top of that, they will put a medicine called Ashtabandhanam. Both the yantras and Ashtabandhanam will have full viryam, full efficiency for 12 years only. So, when they do Kumbhabhishekam, the Moola Vigrahams will be removed after performing puja and they will be kept in Balalayam in a different place in the temple. By doing Kumbhabhishekam, the murtis in the temple get renewed energy. The water will be filled in Kalasham. By the incantation of mantras, the water in the Kalasham will get the same power as the holy river waters. They will do Abhishekam to all the murtis and to all the Kalasham installed on the crest of the Kovil Gopuram. It is believed that one can get grace of God by the darshanam of the Gopuram itself, because the Gopura Kalashas get the same divinity as the Murtis through the process called Kudamurukku. Let us now turn to our story. The Sishyas found out that the neighboring village had done Kudamurukku for the temple, but the Pravaham came suddenly. The temple priest had to take care of the Murtis, the jewels of the Murtis, their acharyas, etc. In that process, the bamboo basket slipped from their hands and came floating. The temple priests were happy to learn that the Padukas have been found and they were in Gurudaasa's custody. They decided to go with Melam, Thalam and other upacharas needed to be given to the Padukas to go to the Mantapam where Sri Gurudasa was staying and take them back with them. They were even more delighted to learn that Sri Gurudasa was doing Upanyasam on Paduka Mahima, and the Padukas reached his place. Gurudasa gave due respect to all the temple priests. Now came the difficult part. For Gurudasa and his Sishyas and Shivachar family, because they got attached to the Padukas by doing the puja for some time now. So, Sri Gurudasa, along with his Sishyas and Shivachar family, went to that village to return those Padukas where they belonged. There again they did puja with Shraddha and Bhakti. There was an exchange of happiness, Maryada, Acharam, Vicharam and Satsangam. If Shivachar had gone to the village to bring the Padukas, he would have taken them home. Since it was Mahapaduka, Shivachar decided to take them to the Mantapam where Gurudasa was doing Pravachanam on Paduka Mahima and Padhasevaka, Bhagyam, etc. as a more fitting place. There, the puja was done not only by Shivachar's family but also by Sri Gurudasa and the Bhavuka Shishyas. What was the net result of all this? Kamakshi Devi is known as VIDHUSHI. Shivachar's family got the boon immediately. One among the families who came to pick up the Padukas was a family who were Satvik, following the Acharam, had the right Vicharam, and became friendly with Shivachar family. Shivachar's daughter was introduced to their son, their horoscopes matched, their thoughts were compatible, and they had mutual love for one another. The Shivachar family could not finalize any proposal that came earlier because of the fear that the boy's thinking may not accept the kind of orthodox living they had. But this boy matched with all their expectations. So it looked as though this alliance not only brought the families together, but the entire village. Both the villages had a happy alliance. Both of them got together for the celebration of the wedding. And Sri Gurudasa sang the song Padhasevaka Janavani in SHIVARANJANI RAGAM. They were delighted to hear him sing Varalakshmi Priya Parandhama Sodari and Parama Kalyani. Shivachar was extremely happy to know that Sri Gurudasa's manjaris were not only for Lokakshemam but also for one to get the yogyata for the Iha, that is present life, to attain liberation and also in Para. Now we will look into the words of Sri Gurudasa's song. Padhasevaka Janavani. She protects all those people who do Padhaseva. Padashrayam Dehi Kamakshi Janani. She is the Lokamata, the universal mother. She has to confer her grace for us to be able to do Pada Seva to our Guru or Ishtadevata. What is the significance of her Padas? Amba's Padas are called Rakta, Shukla, Mishra, Charanam. Rakta is Agni, Shukla is Indu or moon, and Mishra is Surya. These three are represented by the three Bindus in the Sharda Lipi, which stands for the word Tripura. Durvasa Maharishi in Shakti Mahimna Stotra says, Mishra Rakta Sita Prabhaihi Anupamaihi Yushmat Padaihi Taihi Tisrubihi. The next word is Varalakshmi Priya Parandama Sodari. She is the sister of that Parandama who is Varalakshmi Priya. Why does Gurudasa bring the relationship in many of his songs? Tantra Raja Tantram says, Kadachit Adya Lalita Pum Rupa Krishna Vigraha Venunada Samarambhat Akarodhi Vasham Jagat. It is said that Lalita took the male form as Krishna, and by blowing into the flute, she attracted the entire Jagat. The letter A stands for Vishnu, who is Vyapti Devata, and his essence is Prakasham. And Lalita is his Vimarsha Shakti. The Prakasha Vimarsha Shakti is inseparable. It is Shiva Shakti Aikyam without any Bhedam. Vedas say that your mantra contains Pranavaswarupam. If we turn the letters Om, namely A, U and Ma, what we get is Uma. Rudra Yamadam says, Umeti Paramashaktihi Purva Bhavam Upeyushi Adyushta Valayakara Pranavatvam Upagataha. It means Kundalini Swarupa is Paradevata and she is Uma. She is Om, she is Mula Mantram, and the meaning of Mula Mantra and Pranava is the same. Nada Bindu Kala Swarupini. What we call in modern science as matter, energy, space and time, Sri Gurudasa perceived as Nada, Bindu and Kala, the three subtle roots from which the universe flowers into being. This phrase brings to our mind the Tirpugal of Sri Arunagirinadar. Nada Bindu Kaladi Namo Namo Veda Mantra Swarupa Namo Namo Jnana Pandita Swami Namo Namo Vekoti. Sri Gurudasa goes on to say, Devi is Nadamayi, Vedamayi, Jnanamayi, Yogamayi. Why were these words put in this order? The very Shabda Prapancham is Parashakti. The Vedas were deciphered from the Nadam. The Mantra Nadam gives us the Jnanam by which the Triputi, namely the perceiver, perceived and perception disappears. It enables one to be in union with the Parabrahman always and lead to liberation. Manjula Bhashini. Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada steps in to show how sweet Devi's speech is. Vipanchya Gayanti Vividham Apadanam Pashupatehe Tvaya Rabdhe Vaktum Chalita Shirasa Sadhu Vachane Tvadiyair Madhuryaihi Apalapita Tantri Kalaravam Nijam Veenam Vani Nichulayati Cholena Nibhrutam. He depicts a scene which is the pinnacle of his Kavitvam. Saraswati was playing on her veena those songs in praise of Shiva because Devi loves to hear them again and again. Devi was so pleased, she just opened her mouth and said, "Sadhu, sadhu, well done, well done." The Madhuryatvam in those words appeared to Saraswati Devi as if they were mocking the sound coming from her veena. So immediately she put a cover on the veena such that even the vibration from the veena will be suppressed. The next word is Suruchira Nava Yavanangi. Mukacharya in the Arya Shatakam of Muka Panchashati describes her as Nayana Piyusham, Arabdha Yavanotsavam and Arudha Yavanatopam. Let us all pray to that goddess Kamakshi's Padhas to bring happiness and prosperity to the entire universe. Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you.